New from Spot Hogg is a Spot Hogg Boonie. I finally got my hands on the sight and I've been waiting a while to test this sight out. This could be the one that I use for this year and the upcoming season. It's got some really great features that I've been waiting a while for Spot Hogg to come out and add to their sights. Let's open it up and take a look at some of the new features of the sight. Let's open it up and see what's inside. So it says, congratulations, you now own the toughest sight on the planet. So we will have to test that out and see if it is the toughest sight. In the box, you're going to see you have an extra MRT ring, adjustable dovetail knob, and then the rack stop, your instructions, and sight tapes. And it also has a little note that says the first and second axis are already set. So that's nice. We will actually put a level on it and test that later and see if it is set. Now, let's move on to the sight and some of the features of it. The main thing that you're going to notice with this is it does have first, second, and third axis adjustments. But you can also remove these two screws here and change the mounting brackets. So if you need a Picatinny mount, the dovetail, or a fixed mount, you can change it in between the three. So if you're somebody who likes to get a new bow every year, you can change the mount instead of having to buy a new sight. That's a real big upgrade in my opinion. It's nice to be able to have it to fit any bow that you want and only have to buy a mount and not a whole new sight. The next thing you're really going to notice is the new dial wheel here. It's a little bit smaller than the Fast Eddy and the Fast Eddy XL. In my opinion, I really like this size. It's still really good. It's got a nice grip. You can move it easily. And then on the outside of it, you're going to notice the locking mechanism. So you can lock it down to where this will not move at all. And you can adjust it by how much tension you got on there. And it'll really change how easy it moves your elevation. So you can lock it down pretty hard to where you can bump it on something, it's still not going to move, but then you can still really grip it and move it. Or you can really lock it down, so if you put it on your pack or something, you don't have to worry about it getting bumped and moving. So I really like that feature. It's a good new feature, and it's really just convenient to get to. It's a little bit nicer in my opinion than have to reach down and move in a huge knob, where it's just less movement and a little bit quicker and easier to get to. So that's a great new upgrade in my opinion. On the front here, you're going to notice that there's a micro adjust windage. I like that. It shows which way is right and left, so you know which way you're moving it. And it is toolless, so all you have to do is flip this lever over and you can adjust it very easily. I like the micro adjust, and you do have a lot of windage adjustment here. If you look at the bottom here, you have a quick disconnect, but that's going to allow you to flip this bracket over. So if you're doing a direct mount or the bridge lock mount, or if you mount it to the side of your bow, you can flip this bracket over and how it mounts to your scope housing, and it can fit any bow. So I really like that option, and it's convenient and easy to remove your scope housing if you are switching in between scope housings. One screw, flip that off, put the new one on, and you're good to go. I like that. Like I said, it has two MRT rings depending on which one you buy. You'll get up to 3 MRT rings with it. Just depends on which scope housing you buy with. This was the first one that I could get my hands on, so it is the 2-pin housing here. I've never actually shot the 2-pin housing, but I'm excited to give it a shot. With it, you're going to get 2 pin indicators. You can add these on aftermarket. You just have to buy another indicator or however many you want. This one just comes with 2. And then with those, you can actually loosen up these 2 screws on the dial wheel. And you can micro adjust the wheel so you can get it exactly where your indicators line up. If something changed just a little bit, but the pins are still in the right place. It's just not lining up with your sight tape. You can loosen up these 2 screws and just adjust that dial wheel just a little bit so your indicator marks line up. And then also you can remove this dial wheel and put a different one on for different sight tapes. So if you're shooting 2 different arrow setups, you can easily swap those out. Really like that feature. Once the HHA did that, thought that was a great idea, and the diodes Arxos do that as well. So that's a good feature that they incorporated with the Boonie. Really like that. You still have the first, second, third axis adjustments. Very easy to do. This will be your first axis right here. Should be set, so if you're not changing out the mounting of it, it should be already set up and match your second axis, which the second axis is about the same. You have these 2 screws here, and then a little set screw here so you can move it to adjust it left and right. Third axis is basically loosening and tightening these to move it in and out from your bow. Kind of about the same setup as some of their others, just added a couple of new features that make this sight even better. And then it is 10% lighter supposedly. If I had the triple stacked version, I could actually weigh it to compare it to the Fast Eddie XL, but with this being a double pin, I can't do it, but should be about 10% lighter. It does definitely feel lighter to me, a little bit more compact, and I like that it's a shorter dovetail mount. Overall, it's a really good sight. I'm really excited about some of the new features, and I'm really excited to put it to the test and just test it out and see if it's going to be a sight that I'm going to use this year. Another thing that I forgot to mention here is the gears on this. So they are still a little bit exposed, but they're a lot less exposed than on the Fast Eddie and Fast Eddie XL. So it's going to be a little bit harder to get debris and stuff in there to lock it up. So I think that's another good added feature of this sight, is just having those a little bit more contained. Still operates just as smooth as all the other ones. Just will not quite get to that indentation, so you have to go to the second one, so it will be out a little bit farther from your bow. So tighten that down and it is snug. Alright, let's get a string level on it and check it. See, the rail is just a little bit to the right side of the bubble. The string is perfectly level. And you can see the sight housing matches the rail perfectly. So all I should have to do is do a little second axis adjustment there, and it should be good. First and second axis are set together. They do match each other, so that's really good to know. That they did do a good job of setting that in the factory. So kudos to them, and I'm really excited to try this new Spot Hogg Boonie sight. If you're in the market for a new sight, I highly recommend checking out the Spot Hogg Boonie. It's got all the features that I look for on the sight. You can remove the wheels so you can easily replace a new sight tape on there and have different setups for it. You have the individual sight mark indicators that you can move individually. You have a little bit of micro adjust with the wheels so you can make sure those indicators are perfectly lined up with your indicator marks. You can easily switch out the scope housings on this sight, so if you want to shoot different scopes, you can easily just remove that screw, put the new quick detach on, and you're good to go. And even if you want to travel with your sight off, you can always remove that screw, take your scope housing out, and travel without the scope housing on your sight. It's a really well built sight like all Spot Hoggs are. It's got good features all the axis adjustments. Highly recommend checking it out if you're in the market. I will do a full review over it and a full setup, so make sure you check back to the channel for that video. As always, please subscribe to my channel if you found this to be interesting or helpful at all. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I will answer them to the best that I can. Really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. As for all the videos I put out, I really appreciate you watching and liking and subscribing to my channel. Stay hidden.